And we're back at Lincoln University in Jefferson City, the capital city here in Missouri. And the first event of Championship Saturday is the girls 4x800 meter relay. There was no prelims the day before, so we get right to the finals in Missouri Class 3 and 4. Now, we did have 4 events in girls competition on Friday. So Sullivan is the #1 team with 14 points, the defending champion MICDS in girls Class 3, girls Class 4. Jefferson City, the home school, is first with Lee Summit West close to behind, 19-17. All right, Coach, let's get some kind of an idea here on the 4x8. You've got a full field, a section of 16 to get started as the final. Is it crowded only at the beginning, then it thins out and it's okay?
Well, it'll thin out pretty quickly, and they do a nice job at this meet compared to where you'll see it at some other places. Actually at the KU Relays earlier this spring, they had all 16 teams in a waterfall start, and they false started twice, which I had never seen in all of my years of watching track and field, seen 2 false starts in a 3,200 meter relay. And that was the problem with having so many people congested in that small area, was they had falls in two straight starts. So they started them in a couple of alleys at the Class 1-2 meet last week. I expect we'll see the same this meet, and things will thin out very quickly. Of course, as a coach, one of your main jobs with this event is to decide, okay, am I going to put my fastest person first and try to get off to a great start, or do I hold them until the end? And there's a lot of matchup issues between the top teams in the 3,200 meter relay.
So is there a common theme where the best place to put your speed is?
Well, generally you're going to see it on the anchor leg. That's just traditional. But some coaches, especially if you've got, and as you get here with the top 16 teams in the state of Missouri, you've obviously got some of the very best teams in the state, and those teams tend to have not just one great runner, but 2, 3, maybe 4 of them. So that gives you a lot more flexibility. If you've got a team, such as Duchenne, for instance, who's got 2 girls who have gone under 225 already this spring, you can take that 220 girl and say, well, okay, I'll put her on the first leg because I know I've still got a 223 girl that I can put on the anchor, and that person's going to be hard for anybody to match up with too. So maybe I can get off to a great start with that first girl, and then I'm still okay at the end of this relay.
And Duchenne had the fastest qualifying time coming in, 9:43.21. Amazing when you think about the national high school record in this event. From Dublin, Pennsylvania, 1982, 8:58.43. Can you imagine? Under 9 minutes?
That is pretty incredible right there. And the meet record here by Festus about 3 years ago, 9:24, which is in itself a fantastic time. But yeah, going under 9 minutes is just otherworldly.
Top 8 positions will get points for their team. The scoring system, it's 10-8-6, 5-4-3-2-1. So obviously, stating the obvious, 10-8-6, you're in the top 3. You really have a chance to pile up some points.
Oh, absolutely, and that's certainly critical here early in the day. It's a long day of track and field ahead of us here, and we look at the standings as you went over them with a couple of events already scored. Obviously, the overwhelming lion's share of the meet is still to go, and if you can get off to a good start and give your teammates something to get excited about, it could play a big part not just on the track but in the field. And it's like any other sport. Success tends to rub off, and if you see one of your teammates doing well on the track, you're over in the long jump runway, you never know, it might give you a boost.
Well, the boys did this yesterday. The boys 4x8 Class 4. Rockhurst was the winner, Cardinal Ritter in Class 3. We are underway. Girls 4x800 meter relay to begin Championship Saturday. Duchenne had the fastest time again, coming in. 16 teams will start.
Yeah, Festus is back after winning it last year. They won that race in 9:33, and if somebody were to run 9:33 today, I think they'd probably be in pretty good shape. The best sectional time was Duchenne. They ran 9:43, and they've got Abby Smegner, who has run 2:20 this spring. Anna Schmidt has run 2:23, and then Allie Bader, who's one of the better 1,600 meter runners in the state. She's run 5:30. So assuming that they put those 3 girls on this relay, that's a really tough team right there with 3 of those 4. Notre Dame to Sion was run 9:46. Had a great cross-country team last fall. And one of the things that you tend to see is the great cross-country teams often turn into great 4x800 meter relay teams come springtime. And we see that here. Farmington was a sectional champ. They were the runner-up at the state cross-country meet. Festus was a 5th at cross-country. And so it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds. As you know, we can see now it's already starting to string out a little bit, and you've got 3 or 4 teams that have started to break away from the rest of the field.
Well, the beauty of making that transition from cross country to a 4x8 is it's only half a mile for the girls. It's for them that's nothing.
Oh, absolutely right. And the other great thing about it is when you're a cross country runner, or even a 2-mile runner or a 1-mile runner on the track, being able to not just run, it's only a half mile, and you also get to be with 3 other people, kind of to share this experience with 3 other people, is also a lot of fun too.
Well, we'll see our first handoff of the day, and I guess the critical thing is there to get a clean handoff and keep that baton from hitting the ground.
Oh, absolutely. And it's critical. It tends to be something that you focus on so much with the sprinting events, with like the 4x1, the 4x2, because things are happening so much faster. But I've seen plenty of drop batons in the 4x8, even the 4x-mile when you get to like events like the KU relays, and you have that 4x-mile event. So absolutely critical to be really careful as you're moving the stick around the track.
Well, pretty healthy lead is being built on the second leg, 3rd time around the track as we take a look head on to the runners. And again, many of the competitors will be in multiple events, and that's typically the goal is your best runners who get to this level. You need them to compete more than just one.
Oh, you absolutely do, especially these distance runners. Oftentimes you're going to see them in a couple of open events, maybe the 800, the mile, or the mile and the 2-mile. And then you see them in the 4x8, and sometimes they'll even throw them in there in the 4x4 at the end of the meet. And we got Duchesne off to a good start here, and that's Sarah Gotchis, a senior, and was the only one that I didn't mention of those possible runners that could be on this relay. So we'll see who Duchesne's got on the last 2 legs. If it's a mix of those 3 that we talked about earlier, and they've got a lead like this, they could be really, really hard to beat.
And from teams 1 to 16, we may have more than 100 meters at this point separating 1 from 16.
Yeah, at this point, it's looking like there's still maybe 6 or 7 teams that are in the mix here. It would take a pretty good effort for the rest of the field to get back into this thing. As I said, Duchesne looks awfully good right now, although Sion's running pretty well also, and setting up to be a great last mile here.
Sion coming in with qualifying time of 9:46.90. This is Missouri Class 3 girls.
Yeah, great finish here on the second leg for Sion.
You see that terrific speed. Sion able to pass and take the lead on the handoff. This is the 3rd leg of the girls 4x800 relay.
Well, Sion, as I said earlier, they were 7th at cross country in the fall. They've got Mary Frances Donnelly, who's run 2:18. Meghan Kearney has run 2:20. That's a great 1-2 punch right there. And they're going to make Duchesne work for it. There's no doubt about that.
Interesting watching on Friday. A lot of the biggest gains in the relay events came in that second leg, where all of a sudden it was the second runner that was either able to close the gap or to take a lead.
Well, a lot of times you're going to put your best runner either 1st or 4th, and so if you've got maybe your weaker links are 2nd and 3rd, and so if you're one of the stronger teams who can toss a really strong runner there in the 2nd or 3rd leg, you can absolutely make up some huge ground on the rest of the field.
Interesting when Nathan Schillhouse, the quarterback at the University of Illinois, ran the relays at Rockhurst, they would typically run him in the anchor position. He was never going to be the fastest guy on the team, but he was the most competitive guy. So they wanted the go-get-him guy at the end. They wanted him because of his personality to be that guy because they knew he hated to get beat. So you have to have that mentality as kind of the closer.
That's a great point to have, and it's a great point here on the third leg of a relay too, especially in a race like this. You have to have somebody who, especially if you're in the lead, doesn't mind really going after it and doesn't have a tendency to slip back and say, okay, I'm in the lead, I can afford to take it a little bit easier. And obviously Scion's got somebody here who does not feel that way, is running a great third leg. And absolutely, you need to have that competitiveness, because chances are the person who's on the fourth leg is your best runner or one of your best runners. And if you can put them in a good position, as Scion has, boy, this is a fantastic leg being run right here.
And this is kind of, you're just competing against yourself. You don't have anybody on your elbow. You don't know that that runner is behind you, and you don't want to be able to take a look, but Scion will be in good position as they give it away to the anchor leg, the fourth and final runner here. And Scion not able to score any points after Friday, but 10 points up for grabs here in the first event on Saturday.
Well, about 7:06 the time at the exchange there, and if they can get a 2:20-ish anchor leg, I mean, you're talking under 9:30. The meet record is 9:24. So, yeah, the meet record is still a possibility right here. Certainly, they're going to run faster than Festus ran last year when they won this race in 9:33.
Is this where you have coaches positioned on the turns to be able to tell the runner, don't turn around and look, listen to me, but here's what your lead is, because it's significant?
Well, you do what you can as a coach. It is one thing that I've found. It's always interesting to see what coaches' philosophies are on that sort of thing. Is the athletes often don't hear what you're even trying to yell at them. You really have to be at a unique angle at a track meet like this, with this many people yelling this many things from the stands and from the sidelines. The athletes have to be, I think, internally driven as much as anything else.
Well, right now it looks like the better competition is for second or third, but again, we've seen a lead of 50 meters maybe, and that's close significantly as we begin here on the bell lap. The final event, the final lap here, the 4x800 gets us started here on a Saturday.
Yeah, this isn't over yet. The lead is definitely being closed down. And even though we talked about Scion kind of being in meet record territory, if they're going to win this race, they're going to have to keep this up, because this lead is down to about 15 meters.
More than 200 meters remaining here. And what was a significant advantage distance-wise has shortened considerably, as Scion will try to hold on here in the girls 4x8 Missouri Class 3.
Well, and it's Farmington with Emily Harris there in second place, and Harris has a 2:18 PR to her credit. Farmington was a sectional champion, and they're not going away.
Well, Farmington looks strong here, but again, Scion able to get kind of a nice little kick there, and it looks like she'll be able to maintain it. And so Scion dramatically with a big lead and then holding them on to take our first championship on Saturday.
9:46 at the sectional, but they're in the 9:30s today. And as you said, started off behind, but got a great second and third leg, and then able to hold on for the championship. Great win for Notre Dame to Scion.